Whitney, I don't know how I can ever repay you, your husband, and the others in this mansion for what you did by taking me in. You literally saved my life when I thought I was about to lose everything. After what my brother did to you, it is only natural that I help you. You were a victim of him. And the patriarchy that made him, along with my father and grandfather, such sexist assholes. Now you have a chance to tell your story. Good luck. Alright, now to start the recording. Hello. My name is Jennifer Owen. I am the ex-wife of David Owen II, the son of Nicholas Owen and grandson of Reverend Dave Owen. Like the others in the Owen family I would marry into, I was raised in a hardcore Christian environment where absolutely everything in my life was defined according to the teachings of the Bible, as interpreted by the leaders of the Southern Baptist churches. I met David in high school, and from the start, my parents demanded that I get married as soon as possible and then have kids quickly. A lot of them. My own mother was a housewife who had 7 children, so she set the example for me. And so at age 18, David and I were married. For the next 12 years, David and I repeatedly tried to have a child, but I never got pregnant. Then I found out that David was having an affair with my sister, and she was pregnant. David said to me, "You couldn't give me children, and your sister can, so I will divorce you." And then all hell broke loose. David had manipulated me into signing a prenuptial agreement. Normally, when a couple get divorced, the home they shared is sold off and the proceeds from the sale are divided between the couple, with the wronged party getting the majority. Like 60% to 40% or 70% to 30%. Something like that. But the prenup enabled David to simply kick me out of the house and move my sister in. And because I had no job other than being a housewife, I had no money. I was homeless and broke. Even my parents refused to take me in, saying you were barren and thus cursed by God. While I was married to David, I would hear him talk shit about his own sister, Whitney, who he said was a damned apostate, no better than Judas, the one who betrayed Jesus. After I was discarded and ruined, I wondered if she rejected Christianity because of the way she was treated, so I made contact with her via social media. She, along with her husband Charlie Wilson, came all the way from their town in Texas to Atlanta, Georgia to meet me and hear what had happened to me. And then they took me back to their beautiful home. They gave me a place to sleep, bought me new clothes, and then helped me get a job at a grocery store. And then I met others and heard their stories about the Reverend Vicky Sims and how as a child she was horribly abused by her prostitute birth mother, but was later adopted and loved by a lesbian couple, the very sort of people I had been taught were degenerate perverts. Because of them, Vicky became a Unitarian Universalist minister. I learned about Richard Sims, the son of another lesbian couple. When his wife Diana suffered a miscarriage, he didn't scorn her as a failure, but comforted her and vowed he would love her even if they had no children. I learned about the heroic deeds of Sandy Smith, who fought to overthrow the corrupt conservative leadership of her town that Reverend Dave Owen had been part of, and she and her allies changed so many lives for the better just by being true to themselves. And Whitney also told me about her grandmother, Rose Owen, who had also been rejected for not meeting the standards of what being a good wife was, according to her husband Dave Owen. Rose was taken in by Whitney just as I was, and then buried in the mansion's backyard as a reminder of the past. I was treated with contempt by my fellow Christians and treated with love by atheists. So it is obvious what I need to be. There is no God. And Jesus was not my savior. Hello. You must be Deborah Belmont. And is this your husband Danny? May I join you? Of course. Have a seat. I assume my daughters have told you about my story so far. About you having triplets and giving them up for adoption at age 15, and then having to fight for custody of the kids when you were 21. Yes, they told me.
I made that possible. Unlike Deborah, who was raised by Christian fanatics, I was brought up atheist, and when I heard about Deborah's plight via social media, I wanted to help her get back the kids. If we succeeded, then we wouldn't need to have any more kids, and we could prevent the triplets from being brainwashed by bigoted religion.
And thanks to Sandy Smith, we won the fight to become a family together. Sandy was more like a mother to me than the one who gave birth to me. I guess that sort of makes us sisters, eh? So you want to work at my diner? I think I would much prefer working days there than nights stocking at the grocery store. All right, I will hire you to be my diner's new cashier. And Father, you are dismissed.
No problem. I'll just resume my work as a hospital administrator. All right, Richard, the food is ready. Now you can be my taste tester.
This is awesome. But it always is. Why not be a cook at a restaurant? You were once a waiter at the Tuscany Tavern, right?
Yeah, but after Charles and I were married, I decided that the only ones I wanted to cook for were him and the others in this household. I like being the house husband.
No complaints from me. I and the others make the money, and you do all the cooking and cleaning around here. And we all appreciate you for that.
Debbie and Carrie are visiting the Smith-Wilson mansion.
Ever since we sold off the USS Sandy to NASA, James has been trying to think of a way to use the time travel device that was once part of it. Last month, he finally came up with a solution. He built a housing for the device, complete with solar panels and a teleporter. It is in our backyard. Good, then let's go see it.
I am eager to test this new time machine. We just have to wait for Debbie and Carrie to arrive. Welcome aboard, Debbie and Carrie. I know this is not as impressive as the USS Sandy was, but it will do for purposes of time travel.
I heard that the ship was renamed the USS Carl Sagan and is soon to be launched on a mission to visit the planet Jupiter.
That's right.
So where and when are we going to?
Well, this is only a test, so we won't go very far. I'm thinking of this town, but 180 years ago when it was founded.
This town was originally the site of a gold mine, but the gold ran out after only a couple of years, and afterwards, the townspeople focused on farming activities.
That's right. So let's proceed. Robot, Debbie, and Carrie. Stand by. Engaging. Wah! We have arrived in the year 1883. Let's go outside and look around. This is the exact location where the Smith-Wilson mansion will be built. Now, there is nothing here, not even a street.
The town center is about a mile away. Let's walk to there. There must be some construction going on there.
Robot, stay and guard the time machine. And do not let anyone in but us.
Yes, Master.
I just hope we don't attract too much attention by the way we are dressed. You can tell what the first priorities of the town's builders were. The bank is on the left and a saloon is on the right. And almost nothing else except homes for the miners and their families. The saloon is where the Tuscany Tavern will be in the 21st century. Let's go inside.
Welcome to Fred's House of Spirits. I am Fred, the owner. What would you like to drink? Nothing alcoholic, sorry. We are just passing through and we need to stock up on water. There's a pond north of here that you can get water from. The miners drink from it while they are digging for gold.
A pond, he says. There is no pond in that area in our native time. Probably because it was drained to make room for more streets and buildings as the town expanded.
I think we have seen enough. Let's leave. I've set the coordinates to return us to the exact place and time we came from. Engaging. Wah! But when they return, they find they cannot enter the mansion. Instead, who are you and what are you doing on my property? Your property? Since when? We thought this was our home. My name is James Smith Bentley.
Well, Mr. James Smith Bentley, I am Ted Wilson, the owner of this mansion. Indeed, I rule this entire town as its mayor. So you should leave, now. If you dare to cross me, I'll have the police throw you in jail.
What? That's impossible. How can he possibly be alive in here?
And he doesn't recognize us. So maybe this is an alternate timeline in which we never existed.
After their encounter with Ted Wilson in the year 2062, James, Debbie and Carrie returned to their time machine in a state of shock.
What the hell are we going to do, James? We need to get this time machine off Ted Wilson's property before he and the town's police come after us.
Indeed, we must get as far away from him as we can. We certainly can't allow him to get his filthy hands on the time machine. But where can we go instead?
How about my original home city of Boston? At least it will have places that are familiar to me and we will be safe from Ted Wilson as well.
Debbie, do you agree?
Yes, Boston is a good place.
Okay, the coordinates are set for the time jump. Though technically this will be a space jump. No actual time travel. What's that?
Master, a group of police officers are outside the time machine and are trying to break in. Open up right now. You are trespassing. Come out with your hands up.
If we are going to make that jump, do it now, James, before the cops can arrest us.
Engaging now.
Wah!
We did it. We are just outside Boston now. Also in the year 2062.
So what is the next step?
There is one possibility. We go to the house that my grandparents lived in. When my grandmother Kelly Sims died, her home was inherited by Tara Conlon, and then Tara married my uncle Jonathan. They still live there even in our time. Maybe they will be there in this timeline too.
So Carrie, Debbie and James leave the time machine and make their way to the home that was supposed to belong to the Sims of Boston. And they find... Carrie, what brings you here today?
Uncle Jonathan, at least you recognize me, so I do exist in this timeline after all.
Carrie, what the hell are you talking about? Don't be speaking in riddles.
It's a long story. Let us in so we can explain everything.
So basically, you came from a different timeline where you defeated this Ted Wilson guy, and now you ended up here where he rules his town in Texas instead?
That's right. And now we are trying to figure out how things got changed so we can change them back.
Uncle Jonathan, where is Tara? We should explain all this to her too.
Tara? Who is that?
What, you don't know her at all?
Don't you remember, Carrie? Tara Conlon came to our town because she wanted to join our town's Unitarian Universalist Fellowship that was started by our mothers. She lived with you and your mothers for a while, then your grandmother Kelly took her to Boston. And then after Kelly Sims died, Tara got to know Jonathan and the two were married.
Are you serious? When Mother Kelly died, I inherited her cat shelter and I felt duty-bound to care for the cats of Boston just as she had. I dedicated my life to that because I had nothing else to live for. And now you tell me I could have found love with a woman you yourselves brought me? I have felt so alone and empty all these years.
I am so sorry, Uncle Jonathan.
Carrie, it seems you were the factor in both the downfall of Ted Wilson and your uncle meeting the love of his life. You and your being in that Texas town.
Uncle Jonathan, where have I been living these past few decades? Did I ever go to Texas?
Nope. You and your mothers left Boston when you were 13 and moved to Montana, only to return to Boston after a couple of years. Because you could never make any friends among the other kids at the school because of your atheism. You were constantly bullied, excluded and talked down to.
Oh my God. That's what actually happened to me in the Texas town. My mother warned me not to talk about religion with anyone, but the other girls in school kept inviting me to attend church with them. I finally told one girl when she invited me for the 10th or 11th time that I did not believe in God. That girl then told Ted Wilson and others about what I said. And then Ted dragged me into a closet and beat me up.
I remember that too. Our mother then began to consider leaving the town and taking W and me back to Tulsa, where W and A were born. But then Carrie and her mothers arrived. Carrie was the first real friend Debbie made in the town, and together they were strong enough to stand up to the bigots attacking them both for being atheists and for being LGBT once they came out as that too.
And because we fought back at the bigotry, I, Debbie, James and our mothers eventually overthrew the conservative Baptist culture that dominated the town. So now we should go back to this city, but in the year 2020, and make sure my mothers and I move to Texas, not Montana.
Maybe I can help you with that. Give me some information about the Texas town and the house you lived in there, Carrie. Then I can use my computer and a printer to make a document promoting the house and town as a great place to live. And so the document is made, and as a result, in the year 2020.
Jessica, are you and Lucy still thinking of leaving Boston?
Yes, Mother. We are exploring our options, but it is taking a while to narrow them down.
Well, I just got a piece of mail advertising a home in a small Texas town that is on the market for $30,000. And the place is well known as one of friendly, happy people in a beautiful natural environment. Come over here and see the mailing for yourself. Yes. This place does look exactly like what we want.
So we will take it? We'd better before someone else does. And before we have to send Carrie back to school to deal with Patrick and Angel again. I don't ever want to see those two again. As far as I am concerned, those two never should have been in my life. So they don't exist at all from now on, all right? That's fine with us. I promise, we will never talk about them again.
And a couple of weeks later, in Texas.
Thank you for coming with me here, Debbie. With you, I am happy no matter what we do. Now let's eat.
The 2062 version of Carrie now approaches the 2020 version.
Hello, Carrie. I came by to see how you were doing. I'm so glad to see both you and Debbie here and now.
Who are you and why are you taking an interest in us?
Look at me, Carrie. Don't you see what I am? I am your future.
Oh my God. You do look like me. But why come see me like this?
Because you and Debbie both have a great destiny ahead for you, but only if you stick together and never stop fighting for your rights and for the truth. No matter what others do to try to ruin you. Don't ever let them win, not even once. They can hurt you, try to ruin your reputation or even jail you, but as long as you have your integrity, they cannot break you. You, Debbie, and your mothers together have the potential to change so many lives for the better. You just need to believe in yourselves.
I have already pledged to support your younger self no matter what. Thank you for supporting my feelings.
And with that, the older Carrie leaves.
Alright, let's see if the timeline we came from was restored. Engaging. Wah!
James, welcome back. How was your trip?
It was awesome, especially now that I see you here again. I love you so much, Penny. I will never take you for granted.
I don't know what I did to deserve that, but thank you. Our coming here to this town made it possible for James and Penny to become a couple too, of course. So everything and everyone is better because of us.
Mac, your mother and I will be taking a trip tomorrow. We will be going to Fort Worth.
For what purpose?
To visit the grave of our son Vince. And to attend a rock concert by one of our favorite bands, the Stars of Orion. They will be playing at Six Flags Over Texas.
What happened to Vince?
He had food allergies, specifically to dairy products. He was an officer with the Fort Worth Police Department. One evening at a party, one of his fellow officers gave him a taco and Vince didn't check to see if it had cheese as an ingredient before eating it. The cheese caused an extreme reaction in his body that killed him.
Wow, that's terrible. I myself can't drink milk without getting sick, nor can my sister. Are we also allergic?
No, you and Jen have lactose intolerance, which was actually normal for your kind 100,000 years ago. You may get sick from eating or drinking dairy products, but they won't kill you. Anyway, Penny and I will be leaving tomorrow morning. I have asked Whitney Owen to take you and Jen to school.
Do you think James and Penny adopted us just to replace Vince in their lives?
Perhaps. I have no complaints about it.
Good morning, class. As usual, we will start with today's math lessons. Jen, please help me pass out the lessons. Hello. I am Melissa Blake, captain of the school's basketball team. We are looking to recruit new players. Would you be interested? I don't think so. I am not familiar with that sport.
I have been told that my sister is doing so well in her studies that next year she will be transferred to regular classes.
Awesome. And what about you?
My grades are only C's and D's, so I will remain in special education, plus you are in that class, and I don't want to leave you behind.
So your advertising agency wants to buy out my modeling agency?
Yes. You would become an executive in our own agency.
But not the CEO.
No, but your modeling agency would have a lot of money from us.
Sorry, but I will pass. Maybe if my agency was struggling, I would agree, but we are actually doing quite well now. So I decline. We can work with you, but not for you. Now leave us. Thanks for coming to our Halloween party at the Smith-Wilson Mansion. Oh, your costume looks familiar.
It belonged to my mother, and she gave it to me to wear. When she was my age, she watched The Blazing Beauty show. I've been watching it on YouTube and DVD and it was awesome. And you?
I decided to dress like a cave girl, because that's what I was for real originally.
And what about Mac?
I have no idea what to wear to the party tonight. Maybe I shouldn't bother with a costume.
How about I just pick something for you to wear?
Okay, this Iron Man costume will work. Anna already said she was dressing up as a superhero.
Then I will pay for it and we will proceed to the party.
Thanks for helping me to arrange everything. Penny, Mac, and the others should be here soon.
With Paul having to be on duty at the hospital, why not? I was bored sitting at home.
Boo, and trick or treat.
Seriously, I have no candy to give you.
Then you can give me money instead.
How about we give you a beating?
This is the worst thing about Halloween. People wear masks and they think it allows them to get away with anything.
Let's proceed to the party and forget that idiot.
Anna, is that you?
Yes. Do you like it? My mother convinced me yesterday to give myself a makeover to impress you. She said I needed to look more like a lady now.
You look great. But I like you the way you were too.
I know, but I still needed to feel better about myself too.
Good morning, class. As usual, we will begin with the day's math lessons. Mac, please help me pass them out.
Mac, I hear they are having tryouts for the football team. I'm going to them. Want to come too?
I don't know. I've never played football before.
Well, it's about time you learned. It's our society's most popular sport. We never did try to use the teleporter during our first series of time trips, so we will test it now. Ready?
Sure. So where will you send me?
To the kitchen of our mansion. Activating the teleporter.
Penny, you scared me. Sorry about that, Whitney. One moment. James, it worked. I'm in the kitchen now. Should I return to the time machine?
No, go ahead and start dinner. I will be with you shortly. I'm glad that worked. I was worried something might go wrong.
What's happening? Help. Penny.
Penny has been rushed to the local hospital after collapsing in the kitchen of the Smith-Wilson mansion.
I am so sorry, James. I wish I could have done more for Penny. I'm glad I was there to call 911 immediately, though.
Thanks. But this was clearly my fault. I never should have agreed to let her help me test the teleporter. But it always worked properly on the USS Sandy. Why the fuck did it mess up today?
Maybe we will find out later. For now, she is in the doctor's hands.
Okay, I have located the site of the bleeding. Dr. Jenkins, get all this spilled blood suctioned out of the chest cavity before it causes the left lung to collapse.
I'm on it. Get 5 pints of type B or O blood, stat. It must be Rh negative.
I'm ready to proceed. Get me a type 4 Dacron patch and a surgical needle and thread. Thank you. Now let's seal this wound.
James, I am happy to say that your wife will pull through. She was very lucky.
So what happened to her?
She suffered from a ruptured aorta, the largest artery in the body, which supplies blood to most of it. Fortunately, the rupture was small enough that we could repair it quickly.
Thank you, Paul. I am forever in your debt.
Hey, as long as you pay the hospital bills. That's enough.
Janet, I have located the source of the malfunction. It seems to have been caused by a power surge related to the last time we used the time machine.
Obviously, because the time travel device and the teleporter are connected to the same power source. We will have to add another device to keep the power flow constant.
Understood.
Father James just sent me a message. Mother Penny is in hospital due to massive internal bleeding.
What? How did it happen?
I'm sure he will tell us the details. As soon as we are done with school today, we will go to the hospital to see Mother Penny. James, I am not blaming you at all for this. I knew there were risks when I stepped into that machine. Sure, I was worried, but if I had not been the test subject, someone else would have been.
At least the problem with the teleporter has already been identified. It will be fixed soon.
The work on the teleporter is finished. With the power surge preventer attached to the teleporter, the time travel device and the invisibility device, everything should work as it should.
Thanks for all your help, Mac. You really are a brilliant mechanic and electrician. So, are you going to join the high school's football team?
Yes. I figure being on the team will gain me more friends. Excuse me.
Mac, this is Anna. Want to go on a date? I've put together a meal we can eat at the park near my house.
Sure. See you soon.
Before I met you, most of the others in the school dismissed me as too fat and ugly. You are the first guy to treat me right.
In my original time, looks didn't matter that much. But my sister was considered a beauty by others. More than one guy asked my papa Gerlach for her, but Jenna refused them.
At the time, she said she was too young, but she later admitted to me she was lesbian.
Maybe we can find her a girlfriend and then we can double date.
We'll see. While Penny recovers from her recent surgery, Mac follows through on trying out for the high school football team. And as a result, I actually got picked to serve on the football team. That's the good news.
So, what's the bad news?
I tried on a helmet and it didn't quite fit because of my big hair, so the coach told me to have the hair cut.
Then we'd take you to a barbershop.
So you cut off most of your hair.
Sure, and why not? You changed yourself to look better, so I did too. Do you like it?
I sure do.
Mac and Anna, take your seats now so we can begin today's lessons. And now I have a happy announcement. Today will be the last day of Jen being part of this special ed class. Starting next week, she will transition to regular classes.
Yahoo! That's awesome. I knew you could do it.
It seems we are both succeeding in our goals. I can't wait to see you out on the football field.
Paul, I'm glad we both made it to the team. Thanks for encouraging me to do this.
Do you hope to someday become a professional football player? It would be so cool to be one of the Dallas Cowboys.
No, I'm just doing this for fun. My goal in life is to be an auto mechanic. I will spend every summer assisting Eric Sterling at his shop until I'm out of high school. Then I will work under him full time.
So you know exactly what you want to do and have your future all planned out. Brilliant! Now let's get out there and do some practice runs. Mac, this school has a strict rule known as no pass, no play, which requires you to make passing grade on all your courses to remain on the school's sports teams. Now I have reviewed your grades, and they are acceptable. Just make sure they stay that way. Don't ever neglect your studies for the sake of the team. Your academic progress is always more important.
Understood, Coach Packard. Mac and Coach Packard joined the other players out on the field. Meanwhile,
I'm glad you recovered in time to see Mac's first football game.
I didn't think you were ever a football fan.
I'm not. My father's obsession with sports was a factor in my parents' divorce, but it's still good to support your kids in what they do.
Jen now begins typing on her cell phone.
Hello, I saw a message written in the girls' restroom that says for a good time, text 514-803-9904. Can you respond soon? Hello. Are you still in the restroom? Yes, I am. Do you want me to wait for you there? Yes, I will be there in a bit. How will I recognize you? I will be in red with long brown hair. When I arrive, I will ask for the password. You say, Washington. What's the password? Washington. Good. So, what would you like us to do together? I was wondering if you're a lesbian like me. Do you want a girlfriend? Yes. And I am thankful it was you that responded to my notice. You are a beauty, Jen. I just hope you will like me too. Are you still wanting me on the basketball team? I can still join and then we can see each other often. That's up to you. As long as I have another girl I can be intimate with. That will be enough. You want to start right now?